Hey guys, Mike here. So another interesting day in the market. Remember, the market is closed tomorrow. Cryptocurrency markets will be open, but the stock and bond markets will be closed. And so just keep that in mind. Back open on Monday, and that's important to understand. Going into that, and I'll have an announcement at the end of this video about something I got going on tomorrow. But we're going to go into the charts and certain things happen. You saw we had a green day, a little bounce back today. But there's definitely other things happening that I want you to look at. And one is just look at what retail investors have been doing here. They've been piling into these, basically what they call tumbling bank stocks. And you can see this is Bank of America, Charles Schwab, First Republic, Citigroup. And obviously, you can see right there, Bank of America got the biggest beneficiary, didn't they? And just been piling into banks. I know some people, I think they went into First Republic or whatever it was. They're down like 50% from going to that because it is a gamble, right? It could be a big payoff, could be a gamble. Because remember, banks are supposed to lead the way and stuff. Now, this goes into when we talked about Tina being dead, right? There is no other alternative. Well, buddy, you can just tell by Google Trends. Look at what people have been searching at, trying to educate themselves on yields, CDs. I mean, these are like meme stock charts. Look at how fast they're going up. Money market, that's a big one. And then look at treasuries. I told you that is a phrase you're hearing a lot more than you've ever heard, right? Because there wasn't an alternative for at least 13 years. And so this has a lot to do with, and the importance of, one is you actually can get almost risk-free type money now. But also the fact is that, again, if the stock market was driven up because there was no other alternative, how high can it go if there is other alternatives? That's the big thing we got to pay attention to, right, on this run up. Now, I did want to say this. If you're from France, let me know. But I just saw this. It popped across my feed. And I always support anybody protesting for the rights. But supposedly, like, pension reform protesters briefly invaded the Paris BlackRock building. And this was a video that was in this news clipping and stuff. And I don't know if that's legit or not, but it looked like they're protesting to me. And if you live in France, let us know. But what they're protesting supposedly is, I guess the government wants to throw away pensions. It wants to force people to fund their own retirement with private pension funds. But what we know is that only rich will be able to benefit from such a setup, one of the school teachers said. And so if that's going on in France, if you're doing anything about it, let us know in the comments what you think and stuff. It wouldn't surprise me to see that stuff start happening a lot more here because pension funds or pensions in general, I should say, have pretty much gone away from the corporate side, but government still does have pensions. So glad to see on that one. Now, again, what moved markets today, or supposedly was going to and did not, initial jobless claims, right, coming in at 228,000 versus 200. So, again, had less jobs being created, more people obviously going for the jobless claims, and then continuous jobless claims was higher than actually expected as well. And you can see right here, the numbers of job cut announcements, you can see right here is obviously spiking up. No surprise there. And you can see, look in 2008 and 2009, what it was doing. Well, now we're obviously way higher than that. But the problem is we have so many job openings. It is insane, right? And so, again, what's bad news for the economy is still not bad news for the stock market yet because the stock market actually rallied, right, and got pumped up today. And so, as you can see here, we go into this. And when you take the bigger view here on the daily, we start off in this wedge, we end in this wedge, okay? Again, not moving, going into that major demand area. There's an even bigger one below it. Okay, that's why I said I'm not sitting there going, I showed you guys what happens when the MACD crosses the zero line, all this stuff, how we get a 2 or 3 day sell-off, and it's no big deal. Really, until you get through those demand zones, there is a sell-off. But you can see on the shorter time frame, as soon as we enter it, people are buying it up, baby. Buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. And that's just what's happening, right? And a lot of this has to do with the fact that a lot of calls are coming through on the zero DTEs and all that stuff. But if you just look at it, still in that wedge, okay? And you look at this right here. We start looking at moving averages, right? This is the 30-minute. You got the 5-day moving average. When you look at that, and when you add some more moving averages, you can see on the shorter time frames, they're moving up. But even on the higher time frames, when you look at the major moving averages, the simple moving averages, which are the 50, the 100, and the 200, well, look what's happening. The 200, which is like the freighter, it moves like a freighter in the ocean, right? When it tries to turn, it's turning up, right? And you had the 100 across it, the 50 have already been crossed it. And so all of them are starting to angle up. And that's what a lot of people are waiting on. That is not bearish at all. Look at the Qs. Got the 100 about to cross the 200, right? The 200 is turning up. Now, 50's already turned up. That's the speedboat compared to the other two. All right. So, again, does that mean it can't turn back down? Doesn't mean that at all. But this isn't bearish. And you can see on the shorter time frame what we talked about yesterday. a support and resistance flip, right? We bounced right there, trying to make sure we have retested it to turn it into support. Gap down in the morning, closed that gap very quickly, and then of course bounced and proceeded to move up. So now that is support, right? And if you get anything out of this, guys, please hit that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And if you're new, think about subscribing. If you like this content, I really appreciate your support. And again, that's something to keep in mind going into next week. So we all know April, 77% of the time, it ends up being green, okay? And so if you look at some of the stocks, though, they're still sitting in this same predicament we've been in, right? You got Apple rejecting off that trend line we talked about. Again, it moved up a little bit today. Look at the weekly close. We talked about this yesterday. It's sitting in the same spot we've seen 3 other times. 1, 2, 3, right? It's the biggest daddy of them all in the stock market. So as it moves, the market's going to move, right? Again, look at Microsoft. It's sitting at this huge supply zone, which means people are willing to sell there. And you can see it's happened 2 other times. It's sitting at that trend line. It's rejected off of it multiple times. Now it rejected off of it today. So again, they leave the cliffhanger for both these stocks. What's going to happen Monday? Are we going to break through? And, you know, that's what we got to see. If those break through and especially turn that into support, oh, yeah, the stock market's definitely moving up, right? Tesla, kind of a blah day, but again, it came down here, that support I talked to you about, that 181 area, plenty of support, bounce, more of a quiet day, but again, still sitting, getting wedged in right there. Again, if it breaks through that, though, there's more support, okay? So that one, not even really worried about right now. And then you look at something else when I talk about support, and you got these anchored VWAPs, right? You got the one from the October low, right below that support level, and then you got the one from the last high we had, which was September, sitting right below it. So again, you've seen where it's bounced multiple times off of those. And by the way, I wish Elon was my brother, because this is his brother right here. He's supposedly a director. I don't know what he actually does there, but this dude just sold $20 million in Tesla stock. I mean, that's what it's like to be Elon Musk's brother, if you ever wondered, right? I wonder what he really does at the company. I mean, you can name anybody a director, but $20 million. I don't even know how much that man has in stock. I'm sure it's a lot more than that. But it's like, Elon, if you're looking to adopt somebody as a brother, I can make a good one. Yeah, I'm just being sarcastic, but it must be nice, right? And then we look at Meta. Again, all we're talking about, look at this big green candle. Just marching it on up. Once again, made up for that little sell-off yesterday. So it's above the market was 2 days ago. And again, now we're 17.3% away from starting to fill the gap. Now we're at 16.11 away. So it's just marching it up slowly but surely, right? Now, Google had a pretty good day today, and it had a breakout, right? It was in this wedge. It broke out, stopped at the gap. There's a gap right there between 108 to 110 area. You can see the RSI not quite overbought yet. It looks like the MACD is actually moving up again. And so watch for that to close that gap either Monday or Tuesday if we continue to move up in the market. And the stupid thing that helped today, Google is going to integrate chat AI and the shares jump. Woohoo! It mentioned AI. The one I thought was funny, somebody mentioned in the comments of yesterday's video, was Google to cut down on employee laptops, services, and check it out, staplers for multi-year saving. That's right, guys, staplers. Like, how much do staplers cost nowadays? I don't know, I have a bunch in my house, but I haven't bought one in years. But think about a company who has billions in cash. I mean, billions. And they're cutting out the staplers. Like, if you work for Google, what, you got excess staplers or something? I mean, seriously, y'all cutting down the paper too? I mean, that was hilarious to me. But that's what companies are doing, right? They're trying to, whatever they can put out there and say, hey, we're streamlining things, baby. We're cutting costs, right? And I admire them for it. And it's about time they got on the AI kick. I mean, God knows everybody else has been. But ain't that funny? They mentioned AI and the stock pops on AI. Woo! Right? So, you know, and for those who don't know, I mean, it's going to be a while before AI actually starts contributing to these companies' bottom line. But hey, at least mention it, get the stock pop, cut the staplers. That's all you need to do, right? Maybe that'll be the new thing here. Now, looking at what's coming out tomorrow and the market's closed, this would absolutely have markets moving up or down one way or the other. You got some big stuff coming out when it comes to whether or not we still got jobs or not. And you got manufacturing payrolls, non-farm payrolls, private sector, unemployment rate, non-farm payrolls, not private, obviously, participation rate, government payrolls, averagely weekly hours worked, and all that good stuff, right? And the unemployment rate was previously at 3.6. They're projecting 3.6, right? And I mean, it'd be surprising to see it not go up at least to 3.7, right? But that's what people are going to be watching a lot. And of course, Monday will be based off of Friday. Now, it could affect the cryptocurrency markets. I don't know, because I think Bitcoin's, I'm actually recording this, is approaching 30K, right? Which is a big resistance. Okay, so it breaks through that. Don't be surprised if it does over the weekends, or you get a big dump. But either way, but yeah, this is something the market's gonna be paying a lot of attention to. Now, again, I'll come out with a video tomorrow, which covers a whole bunch of stuff. I usually just share with the members, but I'm gonna put it in a video for you guys out in the public tomorrow. And then Sunday we'll go over what to expect for next week, because it is a big week with a lot of data coming out that is absolutely going to move markets. Okay, make no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Okay, and so again, some people wonder why we keep staying this way and you can't fall. Because man, I'm telling you, if you just pay any attention to it, I see it every day. 0 DTE options, man. Those things are getting bought up like a madman. So that is affecting all of this still. To this day, it's still affecting things. People don't talk about it much anymore, but when you see it, it's amazing. And the reason why that's happening is because you have groups. For those who don't know this, you literally have day trading groups, right? And they got their buddies and they team up together, and then they get these people who pay memberships to go do all this stuff, right? So we're talking about thousands of people around the world doing this, right? And so they're literally buying millions of contracts, hitting the tape, right? And so in a matter of seconds, right? And so if those are calls, what happens? The market makers go ahead and sell them the call, and they're going to buy the stock to hedge, and then it starts to move. They start doing puts, and we're also going Sunday what next week's looking like as far as calls and puts as well. It might surprise you a little bit. So anyway, hope you guys get something out of it. I'll end up seeing you tomorrow. Those that are interested in being educated and keeping up to date on stuff. Those who are not, just enjoy your weekend, and I'll end up seeing you Sunday. So hit the like and subscribe button if you got anything out of this one. Think about sharing the video, and I'll see you tomorrow.